We do have a video that will, very short video that will, has some very exciting footage of the USS Cincinnati. So I want to do two things. Number one, a week from Saturday, we should all be excited about the fact that the USS Cincinnati, the fifth ship to bear our community's name, will be commissioned in Gulfport, Mississippi. The mayor has asked me to represent him there. I'm very proud to do that. Former Secretary of Commerce Penny Pritzker, who is the ship sponsor, will be present. I learned yesterday that Congressman Brad Weinstrup will be there from our community. But secondly, in addition to the joy of a new ship and all that it can mean for our community and our country, I wanted to bring together some of the folks that have been very busy as part of the USS Cincinnati Commissioning Foundation, raising funds, planning, and most importantly, establishing a scholarship fund for the families of the crew members of the USS Cincinnati. And Vince Scott, the chair, who's out of town just now, told me yesterday that so far, you all have raised $425,000, and wow. Your goal is to end up having raised $750,000, and that will have a tremendous impact on the lives of the families of the crew of the USS Cincinnati, and that's very important. And I think most of you are going down to Gulfport, and I just want to explain some of the things that are going to happen there. First of all, let's show the video so we have some appreciation of what we're looking at. Does anybody know how to run that? Thank you. It's a fast tug. This is when she was put in the water. She's made out of aluminum, so the days of chipping rust are gone. It's a trimaran, which means it has a triple hull. It's propelled by 4 water jets. No rudder. The water jets move, swivel. She can, we're told she can do 50 knots. She probably can do more, and they can't tell us. She will be going to sea with an initial crew of 70 people, as I understand it. Her initial home port will be San Diego, and she will have a primary mission of mine sweeping, which is very important in the days of all the different kinds of mines that are used. She has a Star Wars look to her, as you can see, nothing like anything I sailed on. And we're going to see her underway here in a second. She's called an LCS, which means Littoral Combat Ship. Her hull number is 20. The first USS Cincinnati was a Civil War riverboat. The second two were cruisers in World War I and World War II, respectively. And the fourth was an attack submarine, which actually was commissioned in the 70s and taken out of service, I think, in the 90s. She was built in Mobile, Alabama at the Austell shipyard. We don't have any... oh, well, take my word for it. She's a beautiful ship. So,
wasn't that it? I mean, let's show it.
We've had a lot of support from the city. The city manager has arranged for this flag to be presented to the captain of the ship next Friday night. Pete Whitty, our own Pete Whitty, with his engraving company, is producing a plaque of this size, which I talked to the captain about this a couple weeks ago, and in metal form, it'll be posted on the mess decks where the crew eats their meals, and it has the key to the city, a proclamation signed by the mayor, and the like. And let me, why don't you each introduce yourselves, and you're acting for...
Thank you, sir. Well, first of all, I want to say thank you to the city and all the great supporters. Without the people here and our friends, our great donation group would not have been successful. The key point to our endowment for the crew and members of their family is education. You spoke earlier about the great work being done here and the member who received the accolades today. We want to do the same thing, but not just with traditional education, but also non-traditional, in the sense that we'd like to be able to bring back support for craftsmen and tradesmen. So if these crew members' family want to be a machinist or a plumber or an electrician, that they'll be able to get their support and tuition support as well. We think that's important for our country. Now, I'd like to take a moment and pass the mic to other members of the crew, and then we'll have a small presentation for the city.
Thank you, George. I'm Jim Brokaw. I'm an Ohio boy that is retired Navy and very proud to be a part of bringing our ship to life and supporting our sailors and their family over the lifetime of the ship. And I want to thank you, the city, and you, city leadership, for helping us out.
I'm Paul Fellinger. I'm actually an Army retired colonel. No one's got the big L on my forehead sitting up here. I'm actually the director of events for the Commissioning Foundation.
I'm Heather Witten, volunteer on the events committee for the USS Cincinnati and also an employee of the finest police department in the country, City of Cincinnati Police Department. I'm helping coordinate some of the events and helped coordinate the design and production of the plaques. And my brother is in the Navy, which kind of got us interested, my whole family.
I'm Heidi Meckley-Felton. I'm a West Side gal by birth and a Hyde Park resident now, but we won't talk about that anymore. I've been helping coordinate the fundraising, and any of you that wish you could go to Gulfport in 2 weeks but can't, you can go to the Museum Center and watch a live stream, or you can watch it on Fountain Square. And we also have a neat exhibit in the arena, or the atrium of the Museum Center, showing all of the former Cincinnatis in model form. So stop by to see those if you can.
I'm Barry Witten. I'm Heather's dad. My son is in the Navy, very proud of him. And I'm also part of the events committee, and coming up on 40 years with the City of Cincinnati in the police department as well. And been working on a lot of things, taking our float to different events, the Kentucky Speedway, the 40s Day event at Union Terminal, and also at Paddle Fest for an awareness and letting people know about our ship.
You're responsible for the cameras that are around the city to support the police and provide safety. We thank you for that very much. I should have mentioned the engines for this ship were manufactured by General Electric right here in Evendale. That's part of the reason that Verdun Bell has produced a ship's bell. You can't have a ship without a bell that when you encounter fog and the like. And the city manager also supported the provision of various street signs with Cincinnati names on them that will, as I understand, be posted in various parts of the ship. So it's going to be hard not to see Cincinnati there. Montgomery Inn is involved in some of the food that will be provided the Friday and Saturday next week. And my wife and I are very appreciative because the day of the commissioning is our wedding anniversary. So what can we say?
No good deed would go unpunished, right? So we're going to say thanks to everyone here, and I would encourage you to look at our website, www.cincinnati.commissioning.org. Great place. You're all invited to make a donation. There's a position there to do that. And without further ado, let me offer this. This is a plank owner's plaque, very traditional, that members of the crew that are present at the initial commissioning will receive one, and their name will be applied along the bottom. So I'd like to present this to Mayor Cranley. You would, sir?
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
This will hang permanently in the mayor's office. We will put it up on the wall as a permanent installation. Thank you very much. And let me just add, if you don't mind, a few words. First of all, thank you to this committee for raising significant financial contribution to this wonderful event for our country. On a personal note, I want to recognize the Wittens for their support to our police department over many decades, Mr. Witten in particular, and Heather for becoming a friend and a resident of the Incline District of Price Hill. And I also want to acknowledge my great personal friend Heidi Meckley Felton, who I've known in various ways through family, friends for decades. And to be volunteers on this great effort is a great deal of pride for our city and for our country. I also want to point out that my grandfather, my maternal grandfather, was a graduate of the U.S. Naval Academy, spent his career in the Marines, and met my grandmother in San Diego when he was commissioned there, which led to me, of course. And so it's pretty cool that USS Cincinnati is heading back to San Diego. I would love to be there with you next week, and trust me, I've heard the requests for me to be there. I will be at the same time that you are commissioning this, working in a bipartisan manner with mayors across the country to push for changes to gun legislation consistent with what Governor DeWine has been offering related to background checks, and in light of the safety of mass shootings that we had at Fountain Square and in Dayton. Those kinds of changes will make a difference to keep us safer and to protect our police, which our police chief is advocating for as well. So I heard the invitation. I apologize I can't be there, but candidly, in my humble opinion, you got a better option in that David Mann was not once served in one term as mayor, but twice served as mayor of the Cincinnati, and was a U.S. congressman, and is a Navy veteran. So I candidly think you're better represented by him, but either way, I apologize for not being there.
Well, thank you, sir. We appreciate that. And again, on behalf of the officers and crew of the newly commissioned USS Cincinnati and our chairman, Vince Scott, who's unable to be here today, I want to say thank you all once again, and fair wind and following seas. Good day.